Well, the thing is, I mean, I hear you though. Don't get me wrong. But the problem is that there are a lot of LLCs out there that are looking for LLC business loans without income proof. But the big question is they have no idea how to get the loan. So in today's conversation, what I want to do, I want to shed light on 5 things that always get you approved real fast. Don't you go anywhere. You're going to love today's conversation. I guarantee it. For edition of the Awesome Sweetie Kiwi Show, how are you today? I hope you are doing fantastic. I'm doing marvelous if you are to ask me. If you are doing as great as I am, go grab a cup of coffee or tea or vodka and let's roll. In today's conversation, I want to talk to you about LLC, business loan without income proof. 5 things that always get you approved real fast, okay? So we're going to address either if you are a single member LLC or a multi-member LLC, not a problem. But before I get into the 5 things, there are 2 things I need to do. I need to explain to you some important facts about LLC business loans without income proof, number 1. And then I'm going to give you the pros and cons of this type of loan so you have a clear idea of what you're getting yourself into. So let's first speak about the facts. So you need to understand what business loan without income proof really means. Because the thing is, a lot of people out there, they just hear the term. It sounds nice. I'm going to get a business loan without income proof, so I don't have to worry about anything. No. It's a little more complicated than that. So when we talk about business loan without income proof, there are 2 types of loans that you will hear about. So you will hear about stated income business loans. So those are synonyms. So when you hear without income proof and stated income, it's the same thing. In other words, you tell the lender how much you think you are making, and the lender does not ask for proof. They don't ask you to substantiate the amount you're giving them. So for instance, if you tell them, hey, listen, I'm making $1 million a year in revenue, okay, they'll take your word for it, okay? So the second type of loan that you can hear, that is no doc business loan. In other words, no documentation business loans. Those are, I think, give or take, synonymous. So without income proof, stated income, no documentation business loans, or sometimes they say low documentation business loans. The picture I'm trying to paint here is that all these loans, low doc, stated income, no income proof business loans, they are asking you, the lender is asking you very little documentation, or they are relying on your words, okay? But it's important to understand that those loans are generally collateralized loans. In other words, you have to have some skin in the game. All right. So for instance, I'll talk about the loan typology later on, but what I want to say here is that you need to have, for example, some skin in the game. If you let's say if you have equipment financing can be a business loan without income proof. You know why? Because the lender does not rely on your revenue or your income to qualify you for the loan. They are relying on the collateral. In other words, the piece of equipment you are buying with the loan, because they know that if something happens and you're not really paying you're not making your payments every month, they are repoing they will repo the piece of equipment because they still got a title. Okay, so it's important that you get that straight. So business loan without income proof, no doc or low doc business loan, stated income business loans, those are all correlated. Let me talk to you about the pros and cons of this type of loan. This is important that you have a clear idea. So when we talk about no income or no income business loan, there are a lot of pros and there are a few cons. Actually, it's the other way around. There are a few cons, there are a few pros, and a lot of cons. Let's talk about the pros here. So you have reduced to no documentation provided for decision, no need to provide income. Speed processing times on no doc or low doc are usually 1 or 2 days. Okay, so when you are turned down for financial statements, no income proof business loans can offer a solution. Okay, so those are the pros. I mean, generally speaking, those are the pros you can think about when we are speaking about no income proof business loans for LLCs. Here are the cons, and there are, generally more than the pros. APRs may be higher than that of traditional financing. And that makes sense because the lender is trying to cover their ass. You're not giving them anything. You're not even proving your revenue to them, your income to them. So they want to make sure that they are mitigating the risk just in case you default. That's why they're charging you a lot of interest. and the fees may cost more than traditional loans. The terms may be shorter in duration, and these type of no income proof business loans may not offer some flexibility that traditional options do, and the loan amounts may be limited. So what I'm trying to say here is that when you actually when you get an LLC business loan without income proof, expect to have higher APRs, lower duration, lower amounts. Okay. And the thing here is, again, the lender is just trying to cover their ass. That's what it is. Okay. So big decision time, boss. Big decision time. Are you comfortable with the pros and cons of an LLC business loan without income proof? Talk to me about that, because this will have consequences. In other words, you're not going to get a $100,000 in LLC business loan without income proof unless your business, your LLC, is established. Okay. You might get 50,000, you might get 60,000, but not $250,000 or $500,000, especially if you don't have a solid financial statements at a personal level. Okay, personal level is really important. Or you are in an industry that is not really making a lot of cash right now. So if you are in an industry whose trends are not rosy, you may not qualify for a large LLC loan without income proof. So now let me talk to you. So after explaining the two things you need to understand, let's dig into the 5 things that I really want you to focus on if you want to get an LLC business loan without income proof. So the first thing is, I want you to focus on eligibility. Daughter, son, if you're listening to me right now, you want to study the eligibility requirements for the loan really, really importantly, because the thing here is that, again, they're not asking you to provide income proof, okay? But you got to really qualify anyway, right? So in terms of qualification, they want you to think about your business and personal credit scores. So where is your FICO score at right now? Talk to me about that. Are you in the 600? Are you in the 700s or 800s? Where are you at? Where are you at? Talk to me about that. And do you even have business credit scores? Do you have a Paydex score from DNB? Do you have an Equifax business score? Do you have an Experian business score? Talk to me about that. So when we talk about eligibility, you really want to study that part, your business and personal credit scores. The second thing is, you got to think about your annual business revenue and profit. See, the thing here is that you still need to give the lender some numbers. I mean, they're not asking you to prove to them that you were making, say, $1 million in revenue and $250,000 in income, but you got to give them numbers. Okay. So I'm not asking you to make up those numbers. I'm asking you to make an estimated guess. Okay. You want to, not an estimated, you want to educate it, not an estimated guess, an educated guess. That's the right phrase here. Okay. So you want to actually have the right estimates here. You want to make sure that your assumptions are realistic. It's not about just making numbers and then just telling the lender, hey, listen, I think I'm making $2 million a year. Okay. And so what? No. Make an educated guess. The third thing is, in terms of eligibility, they will ask you for time in business. Some lenders want you to be in business for 1 year. Some will want you in business to have a 6 months operational history at a minimum. Some lenders will also ask you about your debt to income ratio at the business level. Okay. So because they want to make sure that, hey, listen, based on the income that you told them, that your debt payments are basically reasonable. And some lenders will also ask you to have a business plan. Okay. So they want to have a business plan with your financial projections, the purpose of using the funds, the industry outlook, and a competitive analysis. So what I'm trying to say here is that anything, I'm telling you, if you have no idea what I'm talking about, either you ask us a question down below, or you basically outsource the whole task to someone on Fiverr, Upwork, freelancer.com, or someone locally. Because if you do not understand what I'm saying in terms of debt to income ratio, business plan, it just means that this is not your forte. You need to outsource the thing to someone. Let's talk about loan typology. So loan typology is the second hack I want you to focus on, boss. Daughter, granddad, grandma, I'm just talking to the whole family here. Pa, are you listening? Ma, are you listening? Uncle, you are here. Everybody, aunts, I'm calling you too. Sis, I'm talking to everybody. So we need to have a clear understanding of the loan typology. When we talk about LLC, business loan without income proof, what are we talking about? Do you have a clear idea? Because if you do not understand the kind of loan you're getting yourself into, you're not going to qualify in the first place, or you may not get a high amount. And we are here to help you understand not only the loan typology, but also get a high amount. Okay, so when we talk about LLC business loans without income proof, we are talking, for example, about short-term business loans. Okay, and this kind of loans, usually they want you to repay them between 6 and 18 months. Okay, and the payments can happen weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, and in some cases daily, depending on the risk profile of your business, depending on the lender. Okay, so this is important now. And this kind of short-term business loans, they're not asking for a lot of documentation. Paperwork is very simple. They might ask you for bank statements for the last 3 months. Okay, they might ask you for a one-page application, but that's it. You also have merchant cash advance. So this is another type of LLC business loan without income proof. Okay, some people use the words purchase of future sales agreement. Okay, so this is basically a lump sum of money that the lender gives you upfront with a discounted purchase price, also known as a specified amount. Okay, so you have to pay back. So this kind of loan, you actually have to pay it within 6 or 18 months. Okay, and so the thing is here, you might have to pay 1 to 3% origination fees, but again, it is what it is. It is another type of business loan without income proof. You also have a business cash advance. Okay, this is also another type of LLC business loan without income proof. So basically, you have to repay it over 6 to 18 months, and you might have to actually make payments daily or weekly, Monday through Friday. So again, I'm just giving you an idea of the types of loans that are out there that qualify as business loan without income proof. And you also have a fourth type of loan, business loan, and that's invoice financing arrangements. Okay, sometimes you hear the terms invoice factoring, or you hear the terms accounts receivable financing. So this is a type of financing that allows business owners to acquire cash quickly from invoices that they would otherwise be waiting up for in terms of 90 days or more, depending on the invoice term. So the thing is, you're trying to get cash right now instead of waiting 90 days. Okay, so this is another type of business loan without income proof, because the lender is relying on the invoices, not in your income amount or your revenue amount. Okay, very important. And so companies that are invoiced will be vetted so that the lender can actually be sure that the invoice is worth something. So I just give you not an exhaustive idea, but a very definite idea about what the LLC business loans without an income proof really mean. The third thing I want you to do, and this is the third hack that's very important, you want to familiarize yourself with the lenders. Because see, the thing is, when we talk about LLC business loan without income proof, this is a niche market, and you don't have a lot of lenders. You don't definitely have banks or credit unions. This is too risky for them. Okay, and because some of those institutions, they think of LLC business loan without income proof as a subprime market, when it comes to credit. Okay, so but you want to familiarize yourself with lenders that play in this arena. And we have identified a few of them for you. We have identified nearly 20 or 30 players in this field, but for the purposes of this show and for the sake of brevity, we are going to acquaint you with 3 of them. Okay, 3 or 4. So we have Clarify Capital. So Clarify Capital is a great lender that actually will provide LLC business loans without income proof. Okay, they have a reduced interest rate starting at 7%. They have a quick approval process. They have same-day business loans available, and bad credit scores are accepted, and they have minimal paperwork requirements. You also have Funding Pilots. Okay, so they have a stated income line of credit. They do not always give loans. They will give you credit for your LLC. So that no income verification, no minimum time in business, no upfront cost or fees. This is really good. No financial documentation, and unrestricted use of funds. You also have Advanced Points. Okay, this is another lender that will take care of you in terms of a no doc or stated income business loans for your LLC. So you have it. So these are three. Obviously, the list is not exhaustive. If you need questions, if you have questions, if you need answers, please drop your questions below. We'll answer you, and we can actually elaborate more on this thing. But what I want to say here is that you want to actually familiarize yourself again with those lenders that basically will give you that kind of money that you are looking for. I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another session of the Awesome Sweetie Kiwi Show. We are still having a conversation about LLC business loan without income proof, and I'm giving you a few hacks here so that you have a clear idea what you're getting yourself into, and you can actually get approved. Okay, so we spoke about eligibility, we spoke about loan typology, we spoke about lenders. Now let's talk about assets and cash. So the thing here is that the lender is not asking you to provide proof of income. Okay. But they want to make sure you have assets and cash. Okay. In other words, if you have a legit LLC, you basically have some cash in the bank and hopefully in a business bank account. Okay. And the company must have some assets. Otherwise, it's not a company in the first place. Okay. So when we talk about assets here, it's important that from a lender's perspective, especially when they are considering a no income proof business loan application, they are paying attention to it's called convertibility. Okay, so you are speaking about, so it just means that those assets in your company's LLC books, those assets are classified based on their convertibility into cash. Okay, so we have current assets or fixed assets. So current assets, you have a cash equivalent, short-term deposits, accounts receivable, inventory, marketable securities, office supply. So what I'm trying to say here is that the lender will want to see your balance sheet, especially your assets. They might want to see your fixed or non-current assets, such as if you have land, building, machinery, equipment, patents, and trademarks. They will pay attention also to your cash flow situation, and they will pay attention to your cash flow statements. This is important. So when we talk about a cash flow statement, we are speaking about three categories of activities. We have operating activities, we have investing activities, and we have financing activities. Again, if anything I'm speaking about sounds like a foreign language to you, I want you to ask us questions or outsource the whole task to someone. But you gotta have that. You gotta be in a situation where you present to the lender a clear idea, a clear synopsis of your assets, of your LLC assets, and your LLC's statement of cash flows. So money, grandpa, grandma, dad, mom, I'm speaking to you. If you have an LLC right now, you're looking for a business loan without income proof. Do you have a balance sheet? Do you have a clear balance sheet? Do you have a clear statement of financial statement of cash flows, rather? A clear balance sheet and a statement of cash flows. Do you have those? If you do, please, you want to update them because the lender might ask you for them. Let's talk about the last part of today's conversation. This is important. You really need to have a better idea of the kind of documentation that lenders ask for when you are applying for business loans in general. Here, we're not just speaking about business loan without income proof, but business loans in general. The reason why you want to have a better synopsis of this document is because if you don't qualify for a business loan without income proof, you will need to apply for a traditional business loan. So it's better that you know exactly what the lenders are asking for in the first place. So some of these documents are not required when you apply for a business loan without income proof. Okay, but they will apply if you want to get a loan, a business loan from a credit union, say, or a traditional bank. Okay, so documents that are commonly required for business loans, we have bank statements, personal and business tax returns. Okay, you have business licenses and permits, especially if you are in a niche or you are in a sector that is federally regulated or regulated at the state level. And the lender will ask you for your EIN, your employer identification number, proof of collateral. This is important also to have some collateral in case you want to collateralize the loan. They will ask to see your balance sheet. That's what I told you earlier. Specifically on your balance sheet, they will want to see your assets and liabilities. Okay. They might ask you for a copy of your commercial lease. They might ask you to disclose any other debt that you have, because the lender is trying to evaluate your profile and see how exposed you are in terms of commitment, in terms of financial obligations. Okay. And they will want to see accounts payable and accounts receivable aging, ownership and affiliations in the business, legal contracts and agreements. Okay. In some cases, they might want to see your driver's license. So it's all about the lender conducting due diligence. It's called due diligence. Due diligence to have a clear idea about the kind of LLC you are. They might want to see your payroll records, incorporation documents, or organization documents. In case, we are speaking here about the LLC, so it will be organization documents. And they will also want to see your business plan. So what I'm trying to say here is that some lenders, especially when you are talking about LLC business loan, the traditional loans, they will ask you a long list of documentation. Obviously, when we are speaking about without income proof, the documentation required is minimal. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. In today's conversation, I was just talking to you about LLC business loan without income proof, and I gave you 5 hacks that you can implement today to actually get the loan that you need and deserve. So I gave you the facts and the pros and cons of this kind of loan. But the five hacks, the 5 hacks revolve around eligibility, loan typology, lenders, assets and cash, and paperwork. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. I'll see you next time. God bless you. Before I see you next time, stay marvelous.